Hey guys, what's going on? Tim Avery here with Visual Testaments Global Prophetic News. I wanted to hop on here in the midst of all this social media coverage and media coverage of Donald Trump's second attempt on his life. I wanted to kind of just point some points of our attention to some of the things that are maybe being looked over, or some of these minute details, or seemingly to be reported minute details. There's some alleged things that are I wanted to kind of highlight, but also I want to kind of bring forward some of the things that inside the would-be assassin Ryan Wesley Routh's mentality, because I'm sure that's going to be brought into question on his mentality state. And so, and I'm not questioning that, especially as we continue to look at what it is that his motive was to do this or try this assassination on former President Donald Trump. But I did want to just kind of highlight some of these things. And I have some posts here. If you haven't seen some of these X posts, they're very unnerving. We're going to get to that in just a minute. But I wanted to kind of recap. If you haven't seen any of this stuff yet, just like waking up and like, what's going on? Donald Trump had another attempt on his life. But for most people, this has probably already been news already. But I do want to recap some of this stuff. So this is what we have.
Plans were not published.
So I wanted to talk about that. So let's play this and just kind of a recap of what we know so far.
Trump, they were on the fifth hole. They were about to go up to putt. They heard pop, 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 pop.
Now, in the bushes where this guy was is a AK-47 style rifle with a scope, two backpacks which were hung on the fence that had ceramic tile in them, and a GoPro, which he was going to take pictures of.
And just real quick, just take note of that GoPro, because we'll talk about that in a little bit.
We were able to get a hit on that vehicle on I-95 as it was headed into Martin County. We got a hold of Martin County Sheriff's Office, alerted them, and they spotted the vehicle and pulled it over and detained the guy.
Which, let me just make this comment real quick. I think it was incredible how the Sheriff County Office, the Secret Service, the FBI, they all worked in conjunction to actually apprehend Routh alive. And I think that's amazing, because now we'll be able to have some insight to, what was his motives, and was he coerced to do this? Was he paid off to do this? So we're going to find out. I guess that's going to continue the investigation will continue to unfold what his motives were. But I'll continue this.
The suspect's demeanor I would describe as having a relatively calm, flat, affect. Was not displaying a lot of emotion. Never asked, what is this about?
So right here, they're going to start going into his X account, and they'll reveal some of these posts here. But I will highlight some of this in just a second, because I think it's important to talk about first. But it's interesting to see his mentality state, but we'll get to that in just a second. I want to talk about, though, he was at the golf course, okay, waiting for Donald Trump to be there and lie in wait for him to be there. Because here's an interesting thing. Like, this was a last minute decision that former President Donald Trump had decided to go golfing, because he was campaigning all this time. He decided to go, hey, let's go golfing with a couple of his friends. But so this was a last minute decision. How do I know that? Because the news reported, and I'm going to show you this clip in just a minute. But so as you watch this clip, I want you to think about this. If this was a last minute decision that Trump made to be at the golf course, and not a whole lot of people knew about this movement, how in the world did Ryan Routh get there in time, set up his gun, lie in wait for him to get there? Like, how did he know to be in that position? Who told him to be there? So there's obviously got to be an investigation to open up that. Maybe, hopefully right now, as they're questioning him, I think the FBI's got him right now detained, that they're asking those specific questions, like, who told you that you need to be here? Because remember, in this news reporting, he got into a getaway car and got away quickly. So obviously there was a getaway driver that was there ready for him to do his thing, his second attempt, and then to get in the car and head off. And so obviously he wasn't working alone. But let me just play this clip right here before somebody starts asking, well, how do you know that this was something that, Trump just made a last minute decision? Well, let's bring it up to here.
Anyway, sources tell ABC News there was no planned movement to the golf course, that it was a last-minute decision.
I would imagine that the next.
So let me play that again. Let me just back this up a little bit so that way you can hear this again. So I don't want you to think that
Trump's golf plans were not publicized in any way. Sources tell ABC News there was no planned movement to the golf course, that it was a last-minute decision.
I would imagine.
So if we know it was a last-minute decision, again, it was a last-minute decision. So how did he know to be in the bushes at the golf course with his rifle ready, with backpacks, GoPro camera? Who told him that he needed to be there if this was a last-minute decision? That's just food for thought. And I want you guys to think about that. Now, I want to kind of transition into talking about his mental state, because and somebody's going over these X posts that he made, because I think these are kind of telling into the mentality that Ryan Routh had. So let me see if I can actually bring this up here and you can actually read this, because it's going to be kind of small. And if you can't read this, let me go ahead and just do this in a different way. So that way you're able to see this a little bit better, and I can actually control the flow of these texts a little bit better, because I want to talk about this. Anyway, so let's look at some of this real quick. So again, he was reaching out to several high-profile people. Okay, Nikki Haley, Biden, Kamala. Even here it says Elon Musk. If you see this post right here, he reached out to Elon Musk and he said, I would like to buy a rocket from you. I wish to load it with a warhead for Putin's Black Sea mansion bunker to end him. Can you give me a price, please? And puts his phone number. I mean, I'm not implicating Elon Musk. What I am saying is that, like, this is the mentality that this guy had, and he's reached out to several people like this and made these questions. And the other unnerving thing is that some of these people reach back to him, and then we're going to see some of these posts in here as well. So let me kind of just scroll through these. So like I said, Nikki Haley. There's a one for Seth Rogen. You and James Franco must use your status to meet with Kim Jong-un and show him we are friends. We want the best for him and his people. Dennis Rodman did it. We can. So, and then again, left his phone number. Okay, that's just unnerving, first and foremost. I mean, so I'm going somewhere with this, with his post. So just stick with me on this, because I think it's very telling to his mentality, and maybe the possibility that he was coerced. Because when people see somebody like this willing to go to the lengths to reach out to people like this, that this person is obviously mentally unstable. Or if some people in the evangelical world will say that he's obviously demonically oppressed, that they would take advantage of somebody like this to either pay them, and then that way they have a scapegoat and said, oh, that guy was just acting in his own free will, and no one paid him, because he's crazy, because they can just use this as evidence. So I'm not questioning his mental instability. What I am questioning is, did somebody coerce him to do this second attempt and pay him off? And maybe wanted proof with a GoPro camera, because we saw that he was using a GoPro camera for this. But I'm going to kind of go through some more of these, because there's some in here that was really, really interesting. I don't know who this France Elab is, but he reached out to this person, says there are thousands of native trained Afghan soldiers that are begging to join your police force and are very cheap wages, $200 a month. I mean, that's interesting. And then there's other things like that in here, but there's a couple more I wanted to show, because this is like, there's like almost 500 or 600 posts that this guy Billboard Chris had recorded, and I grabbed this last night because I didn't know if these will be deleted last night or if this just kind of just go away. So I wanted to grab this real quick. So that's why this is set up this way. In haste, I grabbed it because I didn't know that it disappeared. So let me continue this on, because there's a couple more that I wanted to kind of show. Let me fast forward up this. Bruno Mars, all right, and then some of the things that he was claiming too that he had at his disposal, which was interesting. Let right here. Miss Feinstein. Let me back this up just a little bit. I have thousands of Afghan soldiers to wish to serve for the Haiti National Police, cheap wages. Miss Feinstein, I have thousands of NATO-trained Afghan soldiers that are begging for to join the Haiti National Police Force and will work at extremely cheap rates, simply help them simply get out of Afghanistan, and then leaves his phone number again. So again, his information's out there for somebody to grab. And I wanted to, there's one guy on here that I can show that reached back out to him and was kind of interesting. And it's right here, right below here. I don't know, like, again, I don't know what this language is right here, but this guy, right, this Taiwanese guy, or whatever language this says, maybe you guys can help me with that. But it says, at Ryan Routh, sir, are you still at Maiden for recruiting? And then he replies back, yes, always recruiting for Ukraine. And then responds back in this language as well, at him, and then says this, and Ryan responds to that above post and says, I'm sorry I did not see this message. I apologize. Can you please send it in English so I can read it? Thanks. And so very, very interesting, posts that he has here that needs to be investigated for sure. And if there's any dialogue that was had between him and somebody else, that needs to be investigated. That needs to be like revealed, like and strongly talked about, because I think it's interesting that if those things aren't investigated, there's some telltale signs. There's some information that needs to be investigated and brought to the public, because this needs to be made public. Because if there's information like this that's out there, we need to know about it, because I mean, people are crazy. I'll just say it like that. People are straight up crazy. But anyways, leave in the comments. I know you guys are lighting up my comments right now. Leave in the comments. What do you think? Do you think that Ryan Routh was working by himself, or do you think that he was coerced and maybe paid off? Because we have some details indicating that there might be something like that really needs to strongly be investigated. Okay. Again, let me recap this. It was a last-minute decision that Trump made to go play golf. Not a whole lot of people knew. There was a tight-knit group that knew his movements. Okay, I would imagine only the Secret Service would probably know that. Is making that last-minute decision. So I'm not implicating the Secret Service. I'm not saying that, but I mean, there's a small group of people that knew his movements. So how did he know that? How did he know to be in position at this golf course with his rifle ready to take a shot at Donald Trump? How did he know that? Okay, and then have a getaway car staged so that way, if once he did his thing, he can just get out of town quickly. All this information needs to be investigated, and hopefully these things just don't go away. That they actually be investigated and brought to the public, and we're actually brought to our attention, because these things need to be investigated. So let me know in the comments below. What do you think? How do you think this investigation needs to be handled? Let me see if there's another clip that I have. And I think maybe this clip that we showed earlier had some more information, but if not, then I'll just kind of leave it at that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What's going on? Because no one's questioning his mental health. But what I'm questioning is, was his mental health, was he being coerced? Was it manipulated for him to do these things? Because his information is out there. Anybody could have just grabbed his phone number. I mean, his phone number is on almost every post that he put out there. And maybe somebody saw that, man, this guy's a little off. Maybe we can use him for something more sinister. So, anyways, comment in the comments below, and let me know what you think. I think I'm just about done with this live here, but I just want to see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about on this. I think that was it. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'm out for right now. Put in the comments below what you guys think about this. Share, comment, like. If you don't have any Trump merch, you want some Trump merch, go check out our Trump merch at vigiltestaments.com. Get you some merch there. Like, subscribe, and we will see you guys on the next one. Bye.